Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast 5, brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Firework, SPS Commerce, and Sezzle. Headline number 1, Kroger is bringing cooler screens to 500 stores nationwide. According to Grocery Dive, the move comes after a 3-year pilot. Loyal OmniTalk fans will know cooler screens well, but for those new to the program, the company uses digital displays atop cooler doors to showcase advertisements and product information. And for Kroger and the CPGs, it also gives them a new medium for in-store retail media, the hot girl of the summer.
Right. That's a great analogy. I love that.
Chris, what do you think of this expansion of cooler screens over at Kroger?
Yeah. So to recap what it is, for those that maybe haven't seen it, it's all over the internet. So you can find a picture, just Google cooler screens. That's hard to say. Google cooler screens and you'll find it. But basically it's a digital display that looks like a planogram, for lack of a better way. You've got all the products arranged, on the screen. And then they can put advertising towards it too, because it's all digitally displayed. So to answer your question, Ann, I mean, net, I think fundamentally I like this solely for what, and I say that because of solely what it does in the digital signage arena.
Yes.
I equate it to more digital signage right now than digital media, because I was talking to my buddy Chad Lusk, who you know well from A&M.
Oh yeah, the Lusker.
Yeah, the Lusker. And my new litmus test for a lot of these things is there's all this talk of first party data and all this value people are going to glean from it. And I'm starting to say okay, let's put all that aside. Is there value in this innovation if that's not even here?
Yep.
And I think that's what you have here, because the cooler screen, the cooler door, for example, is one surface that will, I think, feed the flywheel of in-store advertising within a retail media network.
Yep.
Just as it's traditionally been done in a lot of ways. So by that, I mean products can be purchased with the ad spend then correlate. Products can be purchased and advertised for with that spend being correlated with just the point of sale data, which essentially almost creates a constraintless budget and on the potential spend the CPGs could put towards this. Just like a regular digital signage play out of home, but regardless of any souped up data play, which may exist too. So I like it for that reason. My one question though is, and the article doesn't give much information on this, is how many freezer and cooler doors is this across the 500 stores? Is it one? Is it the whole refrigeration unit?
Right.
Is it the whole
is it
freezer
just at
unit?
The end caps? Is it at checkout? Where,
right.
Yeah. Where?
Right. We have no idea. So and where does the tech go from here? Because I'm still having trouble if I take this use case particularly and I just try to put it on other parts of the store. I'm having trouble finding out where that is in the store.
Totally.
But with that said, it's still mile one of the retail in-store media network marathon in a lot of ways. So net, I think I like this move. But what do you think?
I agree with you.
You do?
I mean,
okay.
In some ways, but I think for me,
I thought you'd be more skeptical.
Well, I am a little bit.
Okay.
So I think that. I don't think that this technology can be just for the retail media capabilities, the in-store media capabilities alone. It kind of brought to mind what we were talking about a few weeks ago with the electronic shelf label investment that Walmart was making.
Yep.
Because what we talked about in that podcast was I think electronic shelf labels are finally proving their value. It's a big investment, and now they can do so much in store that it makes sense to invest the CapEx in installing ESLs at the scale that Walmart is. I think this is telling that Kroger is doing 500 stores, that this is providing them more information. But I still think to get the adoption that cooler screens would like to see, and even I think to see the success and the metrics that Kroger will need in order to make this successful, it's got to do more than just be in-store media. It's got to start to correlate, like you were talking about, correlate the POS data to get down to more specifics than just dwell time in front of screen and POS sales data.
Yeah.
I think it's got to get down to how do I really start to invest and be able to pay off that customer bought this thing, so that they can start to personalize that experience even further with the media in store. And I think that just doing this in 500 stores without knowing where they're doing it and to the extent that they're doing it doesn't tell me that that problem's been solved yet.
That's a really interesting point, Ann. You're bringing up a great point, which is something that I've never thought about until you just talked about this too, which I want to make sure it gets brought out too, is The other angle to what you're saying is I love the analogy with the electronic shelf label, because the other value the electronic shelf label is having is it's showing people in real time, like, what needs to be restocked.
Yep.
So like the digital cooler screen could do the same thing. And it's even more applicable in that area, because the one place people do not want to restock is the freezer and the cooler.
Yes, sucks.
It sucks. It's terrible. So having to zone that and make sure it's all right is awful. Mm-hmm. So if you could use it for that to alert or create exceptions for your restocking efficiency, yeah, there could be some ground there, which is an interesting point to raise. I love that.